Hey, good morning. Looking in downtown Indianapolis before the sun starts to come up for us today. It is a nice cool start, which you probably noticed those cool mornings over the weekend, and then a beautiful sunny. So you might got some joggers that are getting ready to start their day. Now is the time to get out and get that jog in, because if it's much like this weekend, we did start off cool and then we warmed up pretty nicely.
Yes, but oh, I felt the breeze, actual breeze of wind without water in it, you know, making everything so humid. But yeah, beautiful weekend. Looks like we start things out exactly like that, but maybe with a little fog that we have to kind of wait to move out of the area.
I think we'll probably have some on and off fog
the
rest of the morning, but that's the worst thing we're tracking this week.
I'll take that.
We'll take it for sure. But yeah, you're right. That northwest wind felt good. And we still have a light northwest wind expected today. Right now, the winds have calmed down. That's pretty typical in the morning, and that is allowing some patchy fog to develop. Now, when you're looking live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you're not going to see much fog, but it may look just a little hazy way off in the distance. You're looking eastbound, so on the other side of the skyscraper towards Hancock County, we do have a little bit of fog, just some fog banks roaming around. Right now, it's a nice start. We're in the upper 50s right now in Indianapolis, and you get cooler once you get outside the city. We're watching Marion at 51, it's 53 in Muncie. Good morning in Kokomo, 55, and 53 in Monticello. Good morning on Lafayette. West Lafayette, we're headed back to school. Purdue, first day of classes in Muncie. First day of classes also south into Bloomington, where temperatures are at 54 degrees. Not a bad start in Rushville, 56 and 57. Good morning in Bedford. All right, so a little bit of fog, and most of it is kind of to the west, but we're slowly seeing some of the fog start to expand a little bit and thicken up down a quarter-mile visibility around Lafayette. And when you zoom into Indianapolis, at least our surrounding areas, Indy seems mainly fine, but once you get up towards parts of Hamilton and Boone counties, from Lebanon to Westfield and Carmel, Zionsville, a little bit of patchy fog this morning. But otherwise, it is a nice start. We're not seeing the fog thick enough for school delays this morning. Temperatures hit the 70s later today. Coming up, we'll let you know when maybe a rain chance from the west will arrive. But I'm going to send it over to Lindsay because you have a good update this morning.
Yeah, we've been following a jackknife semi on the northwest side of town. It did just clear. I do believe they are keeping the left lane blocked for now, just up the way. So they just moved the camera around. This is actually now looking south again. Traffic is now moving in the northbound lanes, which is a good thing, but it's going to take quite some time in order for traffic to get moving again because of the length of that closure on 65 northbound. So this is a look at 65 north all the way back to 71st Street, where traffic is still at a standstill approaching 86th Street on 65 northbound. That's where that semi-involved crash initially took place. So we do know that the road is back open. We do know that there's still at least one lane blocked right there at 86th. So we are still seeing a pretty big backup. Until things start to move a little bit better, I would still continue to utilize that detour route of 465 northbound and then take 865 west to re-enter 65 north up on the northwest side of town.
Now back to more flood recovery this morning. People in the hardest hit areas right now are coming up with ways to raise money for everyone affected.
So in Anderson, money there is being raised alongside a yearly event. Callie Lichter is joining us now with how some residents are trying to help. Good morning.
Good morning. Flood aid for Anderson came together in a week, raising at least $178,000 for flood victims. This was done through partnership with the city during its annual Anderson Gaslight Festival. Artists performed on stage for free, and that dollar amount I just mentioned is the count they have so far. Organizers knew that the Gaslight Festival is a time everyone in the city comes together, and it just made sense for them to raise these funds in a time of unity. They also know that events like this take time and that federal aid is likely coming, but after looking at their community, they knew they needed to do something now.
Sometimes it takes a while for that money to come in from the federal government or wherever it comes from the state, and we wanted to be able to be boots on the ground much quicker.
Flood Aid for Anderson is continuing to raise money. They'll be collecting donations online, and this isn't the only area that's raising money for its community. Later this hour, we're going to talk about some stuff up in the northwest part of the state, where a local celebrity is partnering with a food influencer.
The more the merrier. The people can be helping in these communities. Thank you, Callie. We'll see you then.
Well, if you live in Hamilton County, curbside debris pickup starts today.
So you can leave any damaged material or things you want to get rid of along the road as long as it's separated. On your screen right now, you'll see how it needs to be broken up. So electronic, any vegetation, so think limbs and leaves, things like that. Construction materials, sandbags, large appliances, and hazardous waste, including paint, oil, and cleaning products.
Debris should not block the roadway, fire hydrants, or anything else people need to access. So if you do think your pickup might have been missed by Thursday, August 27th, you should call Hamilton County. Also happening today, the Marion County Public Health Department is offering another free tetanus vaccine clinic for anyone who has been a part of the recent flooding or the cleanup. Again, it's free, no appointment is needed. The vaccine is recommended if you haven't received a booster in the past 10 years, or maybe you can't remember the last time you had a tetanus booster. Today's clinic is being held at Riverside Park on Crittenden Avenue from 4 to 6 p.m.
With lots to remember here, so we want to remind you, we have put together all of these flooding updates and some of these resources we've shared this morning and more for flood victims on our website, all in one spot, WTHR.com/flooding.
This morning, the mother accused of killing her 5-year-old daughter is back in the courtroom. Toni McClure facing a new trial 2 months after her first trial ended in a mistrial.
If you don't remember, a judge declared that mistrial in June after one of the jurors allegedly spoke with a witness outside of the courtroom. Marina Silva is live this morning at the Community Justice Campus with the look into this case and what's expected today. Marina, good morning.
Good morning. Well, Toni McClure is back in court this morning facing a murder charge of her 5-year-old daughter, Kinsley Welty. And that all starts today at 8:30 as the jury was selected late last week. Now, Kinsley was 5 years old when she died in April of 2024. She weighed only 21 pounds. Court documents say she was oftentimes kept in a closet with feces and fed very little. A forensic pathologist testified saying Kinsley's body was very malnourished and covered with lice. Now, the trial had originally started back in June and ended in a mistrial due to a juror having inappropriate conversations with a witness outside of the courtroom. Now, that juror was eventually charged with indirect contempt of court, which is a non-criminal offense. Now, back in July, the defense did ask the judge to sequester the jury. Now, that means the jury would be isolated for the duration of the trial. The judge did deny that request. Both McClure's mother and boyfriend are also charged in this. They ended up taking plea deals. So coming up at 6:30, I'll explain more about those plea deals in this case. Ladies.
All right, thank you, Marina. We are following a deadly crash that killed 2 people and a 1-year-old. This happened along I-65 near Seymour just after 2:30 yesterday morning. Here's where this happened. Investigators say that this was a 2-vehicle crash involving a wrong-way driver. Police received reports of a head-on crash on I-65 southbound, just south of mile marker 48 in Jackson County. Both drivers were pronounced dead on the scene. That child was taken to a hospital in Louisville but didn't survive. Investigators believe that one of the drivers was likely under the influence of alcohol. Those toxicology results, though, are pending. Governor Mike Braun and former Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission Chairman Andy Zay have reached a settlement now.
So this does come after Zay was fired and then sued the governor for firing him earlier this month. Zay claimed this was unlawful, and it came after when he voted the commission to approve a rate increase for AES Indiana. The governor originally appointed Zay in December. Well, it was fun while it was here. The 2026 Indiana State Fair has come to an end.
Yeah, the historic weather did have a major impact on this year's fair, but it didn't stop thousands of you from getting out and enjoying the fair. Just a few miles north of the fairgrounds, though, here's why it was impacted. Neighborhoods underwater as the White River rose to record levels.
So the weather forced the fair to close early one day and then even temporarily close the gates another day. And if you want to jot down next year's dates, we just heard the announcement. It will run from August 6th through the 22nd and, as usual, closed Mondays.